My brother-in-law lost 50 million through online gambling, yet he left my contact information behind. By the time the debt snowballed to 100 million, the fierce-looking debt collectors finally showed up at my front door. After I finally managed to talk them into leaving, my wife and mother-in-law came out of the room trembling. My wife had gone pale. Let's get divorced. I'd rather leave with nothing. You handle your own debts. Don't even think about dragging me down. No matter how many times I explained that her younger brother was the one who owed it, she refused to believe me. My mother-in-law even struck me across the face. You're trying to frame my daughter so she helps pay your debt, and you even dare smear my son. Get this divorce done now. Since we're being honest, Julianne is pregnant now. The baby belongs to your good brother. Give up already. Divorce me then. It's only 100 million. I can cover it. I had originally only wanted to ask whether they needed me to help with the emergency. How did this turn into a live confession and divorce scene? Since that's how it is, then you can repay your son's enormous debt yourselves. I asked in a hoarse voice. You're carrying Zhu Xinian's child. When did this happen? Jiang Julian turned her head and said with contempt, Qin Huai. So what if I am? What does it have to do with you? Don't bother trying to keep me. I don't want a husband like you. A useless man who only runs up debts and never takes responsibility. I froze in place. I couldn't say a word. Seeing me stunned, Zhang Fengwan shoved me hard with her foot. Did you hear that? Tomorrow, Civil Affairs Bureau, divorce. After saying that, she turned and whispered with a smug smile to Jiang Hulan. Good thing every time you were intimate with that loser, you took precautions beforehand. Otherwise, that loser would have tried to use a child to tie you down and make you pay his debts. I originally thought we'd let him raise the child, but now that doesn't seem necessary. I could hardly believe what I was hearing. So every time you had taken precautions in advance, 3 years of marriage, and Jiang Ruolan had never shown any sign of pregnancy. More than once, Zhang Fengwan said in front of relatives and friends that I was useless because I couldn't have children. She even forced me to go to the hospital for testing. The results showed there was nothing wrong with me. In the end, it was dropped. So it turned out she had taken precautions beforehand every time. She had even planned to make me raise another man's child like a fool. Jiang Ruolan gave a cold snort. Why don't you think about how your family treated me? I already hated the whole bride price matter back then. Zhang Fengwan clicked her tongue. That bride price. You dragged your feet forever before handing it over. With such a shabby attitude, I didn't even want my daughter marrying you at the time. A memory of that wedding 3 years ago flashed through my mind. We had originally agreed on a bride price of 999,000 for good luck. But on the wedding days, Zhang Fengwan refused to let Jiang Xulan get out of the car and insisted on an extra 1 million as an exit fee. I felt it was outrageous, but Jiang Xulan wiped her tears in the wedding car and said her mother had only one daughter and life wasn't easy. I gritted my teeth and paid it. Later, when we reached my family's doorstep, Zhang Fengwan said the addressing the in-laws gift couldn't be skipped and demanded another 1 million. I didn't want to pay that times. It was clearly an outrageous grab. In the end, my father made the decision, saying marriage was a happy occasion, and it wasn't worth ruining the day over this. So he paid. Luckily, my father had seen through their character and kept our family's hundreds of billions in assets hidden. He even arranged the weddings at our old home from before we became wealthy. In the end, they stopped only after taking 3 million. Zhang Fengwan gave Jiang Ruolan not a single cent of dowry. She said our family wasn't worthy of matching it. Only later did I learn that the entire 3 million had been given by Zhang Fengwan to my brother-in-law, Jiang Heicheng, who squandered it all. My father had reminded me at the time to keep hiding our wealths, saying time reveals a person's true heart. Looking back now, he was absolutely right. I took a deep breath, pulled out my phone and called Jiang Heicheng. Divorce is fine, but I won't shoulder Jiang Heicheng's debt. I'll call him right now and make it clear. But after I called several times in a row, Jiang Heicheng never picked up. Jiang Ruolan slapped my phone out of my hand. You knew my brother is traveling abroad and can't answer calls, so you dare to smear him. Zhang Fengwan kicked my phone far away. Your own debt, and you want us to repay it. If you don't carry it, who will? Just then, the front door was slammed open. Zhu Xinian rushed in, furious. Qin Huai, you're absolutely shameless. All this over a mere 100 million. Jiang Julian threw herself into his arms. Xinian. He even dared to accuse my brother of borrowing the monies. Zhu Xinian kissed Jiang Julian on the forehead. Why don't you come stay at my place? What if those debt collectors come again and scare you and my son? Seeing my face darken, Zhu Sinian sneered, "What's the big deal? Where do you think Julan went every time you were away on business? She came to my place. She's slept in my bed. More times than in yours." After throwing one last insult at me, he took Jiang Huolan by the hand, and the three of them left my home without looking back. I had misjudged not only Jiang Huolan, but Zhu Sinian as well. Zhu Sinian had been my college buddy. A few years ago, when he lost his job and asked me for money, I lent him 100,000 without hesitation. Later, when he still couldn't find work, I recommended him to a company. He slowly rose into senior management, earning 5 million a year. But I never told him that company belonged to my father. I never imagined this ungrateful so-called brother would actually get involved with my wife. Just as those memories reached that point, I got a call from one of my subordinates, Mr. Qin. "Please come back to the company right away." I had no idea what was going on, but I rushed back anyway. I saw Jiang Huolan there with Zhu Sinian and Zhang Fengwan, causing a huge scene in my company. Jiang Huolan was at the legal department handling paperwork. "Starting today, I am no longer a shareholder in this lousy company. I want out." Zhu Sinian brought over the equity withdrawal agreement. "Right. Withdraw immediately. Then once you're divorced, that 100 million debt will have nothing to do with us." Zhang Fengwan ran straight up to my clients and shouted, "This company's boss has terrible conduct. You all should choose someone else. Go on, leaves." One client after another stood up, packed their things and headed out. Zhang Fengwan still wasn't satisfied. She kept shouting around the employees' desks, "Everyone keep an eye on your monies. Your awful boss owes 100 million. He could take your valuables and disappear at any time, and even leave your wages unpaid." When they saw me walk in, my co-workers immediately put away their valuable belongings, whispering among themselves, "So the boss really owes 100 million. And he doesn't even care about his own wife. Could he actually run off with the money? I never imagined he was that kind of person." Now his wife and mother-in-law came here to make a scene. Let's see what he can do. Even his former brother turned against him on principle. Then it must be true. We should probably start looking for new jobs. I hurried inside. "What gives you the right to spread lies and cause trouble? For any losses you've caused the company, I can take legal action against you." Zhu Sinian put on a righteous expression and stood in front of Jiang Huolan. "You owe a full 100 million. That is simply the truth." The employees outside began whispering even more loudly. They were all gossiping. Just then, my mother walked in. She asked in disbelief, "How is that possible? Huer, didn't you just give me that jewelry from the auction?" A few days ago, only then did I remember that I had originally planned to take her out to dinner after work today. Jiang Huolan gave a cold laugh. "What auction? Your son bought that with high-interest loans. Enjoy it now. Later you'll have plenty to cry about. Thankfully, the baby in my belly isn't part of your family. Otherwise, the child would be dragged down too." What? My mother was stunned. She grabbed Jiang Huolan, who was about to leave. "What did you say?" Jiang Huolan shook off her hand in disgust. "Are you deaf? I said the baby in my belly isn't part of your family." My mother already had high blood pressure. After Jiang Huolan shoved her, she staggered backward. Clutching her chest, she collapsed to the floor. I rushed forward and caught my mother. "Mom, what's wrong?" Jiang Huolan clicked her tongue. "This poor old woman is so good at acting. Is she trying to put on a show and squeeze money out of us? Let's go." I'm sick of this. After saying that, she led Zhang Fengwan and Zhu Sinian out. My mother's face had gone pale. She couldn't say a word. Then she slowly lost consciousness. I had no time to think. I picked her up and rushed her to the hospital. In the emergency room, the doctor examined my mother. She has high blood pressure. Her emotions spiked, causing her blood pressure to surge. She needs to stay in the hospital for observation. I walked out of the wards and called my father, who was overseas on business. "Hello, Huer," my father's voice came through. I told him everything that had happened. The other end of the line went silent for a few seconds. Then my father said, "I'll book a flight back immediately. I won't let this slide. Take good care of your mother. Leave the rest to me." My father paused. "I will also handle Zhu Sinian and the Jiang family." After hanging up, I sat beside the hospital bed and revoked the authorization on the credit card Jiang Julian had. That credit card was the one I had given her for groceries and daily expenses. I told her she could spend up to 10,000 a month. She only knew I paid the bill every month, but she had no idea that the card's actual limit was 100 million. My phone suddenly vibrated. It was several WeChat messages from Zhu Xinian. First came intimate photos of him and Jiang Ruolan, followed by several voice messages. Brother, I'm really sorry. You owed too much. I can't help you, but I suggest you find some odd jobs to repay the debt. Doing that might even build you up a little. Ruolan said you were disappointing in private, so she came to me instead. I wasn't furious, I felt numb. I treated you pretty well, didn't I? And this is how you repay me. Zhu Xinian laughed back then. I really thought, and that's why I became your brother. If I had known you were just someone who took out high-interest loans to pretend to be important, I wouldn't have bothered with you at all. I wouldn't have spared you a glance. I stopped replying to him and blocked him on WeChat. The next morning, I went home to pack a few things before returning to the hospital to stay with my mother. The moment I opened the front door, I saw Jiang Ruolan, Zhang Fengwan, and Zhu Xinian standing in the living room again. Jiang Ruolan came up and struck me immediately. You still have the nerve to come back. Didn't we agree to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau today? How dare you not show up? Zhang Fengwan also lashed out at me with a kick. Just as I thought. He doesn't want to divorce. We agreed to split up, so he could trick us into helping repay that 100 million. I pushed them away immediately, gritting my teeth. My mother was hospitalized because of what you did. And you're still worried about the divorce. Jiang Ruolan sneered. The one in trouble is your mother, not mine. What does that have to do with me? Zhu Xinian flung a divorce agreement in front of me. I've already drafted the agreements. Just sign your name. Jiang Ruolan found a pen and tossed it at me. I've already consulted a lawyer. As long as I leave with nothing, without receiving a single cent, naturally I won't need to shoulder a cent of your debt. Hurry up and sign. Don't delay my wedding with Xinian. I found it laughable. I reached out and signed the agreement, just to escape a debt. She was actually willing to leave with nothing. Then naturally, she would have no claim to my family's hundreds of billions in assets. The moment I finished, Zhu Xinian came over to drag me away. Let's go. We'll finalize the divorce at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Nothing in the world is more urgent than this. I shook Zhu Xinian off. My mother is having surgery today. I don't have time. Zhang Fengwan kicked me and snapped, enough nonsense. Even if your mother were on her last day, you'll sign the divorce papers first. They forcibly dragged me out the door, all the way to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Along the way, Zhang Fengwan kept shouting loudly, slandering me over that so-called 100 million debt. People nearby gathered to watch the scene. I heard that man owes money to loan sharks. Even his wife wants a divorce. I heard he even blamed his own debt on his brother-in-law to avoid paying it. How shameless. No wonder his wife and mother-in-law are furious. If it were me, I'd cut him off too. The staff member adjusted his glasses and asked, have both parties agreed on the terms in the divorce agreement? Jiang Ruolan nodded and handed over the agreement. Yes. I leave with nothing. I had no objection and completed the process directly. When we walked out of the office, a smile finally appeared on Jiang Ruolan's face. I'm finally free. I love you, Zhu Xinian. Once the divorce cooling off period ends, we'll get married. She threw herself into Zhu Xinian's arms and kissed him in public. Thank goodness. I met you. Now I can start over. Otherwise, this loser would have ruined my whole life. Zhang Fengwan became even more arrogant. She shoved me hard. Get lost already. My daughter is carrying Xinian's child now. From now on, she'll live in comfort and never have to look at your poor face again. I couldn't be bothered with them. I turned and started walking away. Zhu Xinian gave Jiang Ruolan's waist a playful squeeze, then made a phone call. Tianhai Grand Hotel. Book me a celebration banquet for 7 p.m. tonight. I want the highest tier menu. Reserve 2 bottles of 1982 Lafite for me. He deliberately raised his voice, so I could hear every word clearly. After hanging up, Zhu Xinian smiled and said, Huer, we're going to celebrate tonight. Do you want to come too? I took a deep breath, turned back and said coldly, get lost. Jiang Ruolan giggled. Xinian, don't tease a fool. He still owes 100 million. How could he dare wander around outside? Maybe someone will come collect the debt in a moment, and he'll end up in serious trouble. Zhang Fengwan spat. Serves him right. That's payback just at this moment. A group of people suddenly surged up behind us. Leading them was a bald, burly man, followed by 7 or 8 heavily tattooed men. The bald man took off his jacket and bellowed, "Debts must be repaid, that's only fair." Jiang Hualan and Zhu Xinian were startled by the sudden shout. Seeing that they were debt collectors, Zhang Fengwan quickly pulled out the divorce agreement and said, "He's already divorced my daughter. Whatever you do to him is your business. It has nothing to do with us." The bald man looked completely baffled. He motioned for his men to bring someone forward. "Point out which ones are your family." Jiang Heicheng was dragged in, his face bruised and swollen. He wailed like a fool, "Mom, sis. Brother-in-law, save me. I owe them 100 millions. If I can't repay it today, they'll take me away." Everyone present froze. Jiang Hualan stammered, "Little brother. What are you saying? The one who owes money is Qin Huai. Not you." Zhang Fengwan rushed up, trying to free Jiang Heicheng. She pointed at me and shouted, "You must have made a mistake. He's the one you want. Take him." Zhu Xinian grabbed me by the collar. "Are you even a man? You did this yourself, yet you framed Heicheng and even had the collectors come after him." The surrounding crowd also started accusing me. "Exactly. You must have the wrong person. He clearly owed a huge debt, or they never would have divorced." The bald man lashed out at Jiang Heicheng with his foot. "Would I not know who owes me money? Say it yourself." Jiang Heicheng started wailing again, "Mom. Sis, I'm the one who owes 100 million. I already made a deal with them. As long as we pay, they won't make things difficult for me. Before, brother-in-law could take out 3 million for the bride price and help me repay debt. He must still have money. Hurry and ask brother-in-law to help me." As he spoke, he broke free from the men and dropped to his knees in front of me. I pulled out the divorce agreement we had just signed and shook my head. "Your sister and I are divorced now. I'm no longer." Your brother-in-law, Jiang Heicheng, froze. He looked at Jiang Hualan and shouted, "What are you doing? Such a perfect sucker. And you divorced him just like that." Jiang Hualan came over and pulled him up. "Are you confused? Why are you kneeling to a penniless loser? His mother is lying in the hospital waiting for medical fees. Where would he get money?" Zhang Fengwan also tugged at Jiang Hualan and whispered, "Go talk to Zhu Xinian. He's a company executive now. He must have 100 million. Just say you want 100 million as the bride price." Zhu Xinian overheard their conversation. His expression changed, and he stammered, unable to say anything. From what I knew of him, Zhu Xinian was a habitual spendthrift. Forget taking out 100 million. Even 1 million would be a stretch for him. Zhang Fengwan panicked. She widened her eyes and asked Zhu Xinian, "Don't tell me you can't produce that 100 million. You said before that you were worth over 100 million. Now that you've tricked my daughter into divorcing, you're going back on your word, aren't you?" I let out a cold laugh. "That executive seat at his company, I doubt he'll be sitting in it for much longer." Jiang Hualan's face hardened. "Who do you think you are? No one asked you to speak. Stop getting in the way of my Xinian." To steer Zhang Fengwan away from the topic, Zhu Xinian raised his hand as if to hit me. "HMPH, what nonsense are you spouting? My position is rock solid. I'm about to be promoted." The bald strongman lashed out at Jiang Heicheng again. "I don't have time to watch your family drama. If there's no money, we'll take him away." Jiang Heicheng wailed in pain. "Zhu Xinian, if you want to marry my sister, then bring out 100 million as the bride price first. Otherwise, I'll be the first to oppose this marriage." Zhang Fengwan cried anxiously, "We have money, we have money. Please don't hurt my son. Julan, hurry and take out your money." Julan immediately pulled out the credit card I had given her and handed it to the bald man. "This is the card I usually use for groceries. See how much can be charged. Use it for now, please don't touch my brother." One of the bald man's underlings swiped the card. The machine beeped twice. "Boss, this card really does have a credit limit of 100 million, but it's already locked." The bald man's tossed the card back. "Don't take us for fools. The money is there, but it can't be used." Zhang Fengwan was stunned. She grabbed Jiang Hualan. 100 million. Where did this credit card come from? Jiang Hualan looked dazed. "Qin Huai gave me this card. Wasn't the monthly limit only 10,000? How could there be so much money? Jiang Hualan stared at me blankly. Her eyes complicated. Why do you have so much money? Zhang Fengwan hurriedly grabbed Zhu Xinian. Good son-in-law. You and him used to be brothers. He must have used some trick to steal your money. Just now you hesitated. Were you trying to cover for him? Let's take the money back right now. The crowd chimed in exactly. That must be it. Call the police and have him arrested. Zhu Xinian looked at the credit card with envy, then glared viciously at me, as if something was brewing in his mind. Zhang Fengwan walked over and started scolding and striking at me. You stole Xinian's money. Hurry and unlock the cards. If anything happens to Heicheng, I won't let you off. I pushed her away with one hand. It's my family's money. It has nothing to do with any of you. The bald man's patience finally ran out. He struck Jiang Heicheng on the head. We've dragged this out long enough. Your family simply has no money. A bump immediately rose on Jiang Heicheng's forehead. We do have money. My mother still owns a house. Use that for now. Zhang Fengwan turned pale. What are you saying? That's my retirement home. The bald man looked at me. Mr. Qin. Since you're already divorced, you may leave first. He pointed at Zhang Fengwan, Jiang Ruolan, and Zhu Xinian. The others can go, but the mother's sister and boyfriend will stay. Zhu Xinian panicked. He hurriedly said, I have nothing to do with them. I was just passing by. I don't know them. Jiang Ruolan was stunned. She shook Zhu Xinian's hand. What are you saying? Weren't we about to get married and have a child? Zhu Xinian struck Jiang Ruolan across the face. Your brother owes that much money, and you still want to marry me. You'd ruin me. Zhang Fengwan hurried over and got tangled up with Zhu Xinian. You liar. You played with my daughter's feelings and now you want to run. And you dare lay a hand on my daughter. Obviously, Zhang Fengwan was no match for Zhu Xinian. After just a few exchanges, she was crying out in pain. I was about to leave when Jiang Zhuolan dropped to her knees in front of me. Huai, please save my brother. I know you must have a way. She cried pitifully. I know I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. The 30-day divorce cooling-off period hasn't passed yet. I can take back the divorce. I looked at her expressionlessly. Madam, you were unfaithful during the marriage. Even if you change your mind, I can still file for divorce. Just then, a deep engine roar came from the road. A convoy of luxury cars approached. All black Maybachs, each with matching serial license plates. The convoy stopped. More than a dozen bodyguards in black suits stepped out and stood in two neat rows. They bowed to me in unison and shouted, Young Master Qin, the chairman is here to escort you home. Everyone around us was stunned. Oh my goodness, what a show. I recognize those cars. They're from Shengshan Group. Shengshan Group? You mean the Shengshan Group worth hundreds of billions? Who is this young Master Qin they're talking about? Could it be Qin Huaishu? Zhang Fengwan's eyes widened even more. She stammered, what Qin family? What chairman? Jiang Xuelan, still kneeling on the ground, was also dumbfounded. She stared at me blankly. Your family has such a powerful background. Yet you've pretended to be poor in front of us for so long. The rear car door opened. My father stepped out. He wore a perfectly tailored luxury suit. His gaze was sharp. My father looked at Zhu Xinian and said coldly, Zhu Xinian, you're fired. The finance department has already uncovered your misappropriation of company funds. We will sue you immediately. Zhu Xinian looked at me, then looked at my father. His face turned pale. President Qin, you're actually his father. My father waved his hand. Two bodyguards stepped forward and restrained Zhu Xinian. Zhu Xinian struggled and shouted, President Qin, I know I was wrong. Huer, please say something for me. We're brothers. I looked at him without expression. We were not anymore. My father then looked toward the bald man. As for Jiang Heicheng, the money he owes you, collect it however the law allows. But this is a public place. Don't cause a bigger disturbance. The bald man smiled apologetically. President Qin, don't worry, we're a legitimate company. We have IOUs and contracts. Good. My father nodded. Then he turned to me. Your mother is about to have surgery. Let's return to the hospital. My father signaled to the bodyguards, who pulled Jiang Xuelan, still kneeling on the ground, aside. Jiang Xuelan was lifted up by the bodyguards. She cried out, "Husband. Husband, listen to me. Zhu Sinian was the one who tempted me. I still love you. I followed my father out. Jiang Xuelan chased after us, husband. You can't abandon me and He Cheng." Zhang Fengwan also rushed over, exactly. Huier were all families. What can't be discussed? Just help pay He Cheng's debt first. We'll borrow it from yous. We'll definitely pay you back later. I stopped walking, turned back and looked at them. Jiang Xuelan, we are already divorced. My voice was calm, and besides, the child in your belly has nothing to do with me. After saying that, I got into the car. The convoy slowly pulled away. Through the window, I saw Jiang Xuelan collapse onto the ground, while Zhang Fengwan kept chasing after the convoy. In the car, my father handed me a bottle of water. Don't worry, I will make them repay this tenfold. Dad, what are you planning to do? As for Zhu Xinian, I already have evidence that he misappropriated company funds. The amount isn't small. It'll be enough to send him away for several years. As for the Jiang family, I've already arranged to sue them and recover everything they took. As for Jiang He Cheng's debt, I'll make sure his troubles get even worse. I nodded. We returned to the hospital. My mother's surgery had already finished. When she saw us come back, she smiled. Everything with our son has been handled. My father held my mother's hand. Rest well. Leave the rest to me. That evening, I received 4 or 5 messages from Jiang Xuelan. I opened them, husband. Zhu Sinian was the one who tempted me. In my heart, I still love you. Please forgive me just this once. You were also wrong to hide your wealth, weren't you? If I had known your family's true condition, I never would have done this. I'll end this pregnancy right now and start over with you. But the bride price should be 100 million. Your family can afford that, right? What does it mean that you're not replying to me? Don't push your luck too far. When have you ever seen me beg you like this? Looking at those messages, I felt a wave of disgust. I blocked her phone number immediately. 3 days later, my mother recovered enough to be discharged. I drove to the hospital entrance to pick her up and take her home. Just after I parked, Zhu Sinian suddenly rushed out from the side and grabbed me. Huier, he looked haggard, with his beard grown out. Huier, after all these years as brothers. Can't you forgive me just once? Let me off this time. I frowned and threw off his hand. Get lost. Who was ever your brother? I was blind to trust you. Zhu Sinian dropped to his knees. I know I wronged you. But now your father not only fired me, he's also suing me for misappropriating company funds. Huier, I truly know I was wrong. Ask your father to withdraw the lawsuit. Spare me this once. From now on, I'll do anything you say. Passers-by around us stopped to watch. That man looks like the former executive from Shengshan Group. The one who got fired after cheating. Yes, that's him. Disgusting. He still dares to kneel and beg young Master Qin. Serves him right. If you do wrong, you pay the price. I sneered when you and Jiang Xuelan were having an affair. Why didn't you think about the consequences? You brought all of this on yourself. Zhu Sinian suddenly became agitated. None of that was my fault. Jiang Xuelan seduced me. She said you were lacking. She said you couldn't satisfy her in private. She came to me on her own. I turned to leave, but he clung to me tightly. Huier, you can't treat me like this. Zhu Sinian started crying. I still have an elderly mother at home to support. If I go to prison, what will happen to her? My voice was cold. I'll say it one more time. That has nothing to do with me. Let go. No, I won't. It's all Jiang Xuelan's fault, that shameless woman, for seducing me and causing me to do something wrong. Just then, a sharp scream came from behind us. Zhu Sinian, what nonsense are you talking about? Jiang Xuelan had arrived too. She wore loose clothing, her face pale, and even walked unsteadily. She rushed over and struck Zhu Sinian across the face. Back then, you were clearly the one who tempted me. You even told me to take precautions in advance. Now I've ended the pregnancy, and I want to start over with Huai. If it weren't for you, I'd be the young madam of Shengshan Group right now. With a fortune worth hundreds of billions, she weakly held her stomach. looking as if she had just undergone a procedure. I felt sick to my stomach and stepped back twice. We're already over. I never said I would start over with you. Jiang Yuelan struck Zhu Xinian across the face again. It's all your fault. You caused my husband to have such a huge conflict with me now. Zhu Xinian winced in pain, then struck Jiang Yuelan back across the face. That was my child. What gave you the right to end it? Jiang Yuelan seemed to lose control, lunging forward and hitting him several times. You want to marry me? Then bring out 100 million as the bride price. If you can't produce it, then I won't keep the child. The two instantly started fighting. More and more people gathered around. Ha, look at this pair. Two people who betrayed their partners are fighting. Everyone come watch the drama. Wow, this woman is something else. She's obsessed with money, remarried and still demanding a 100 million bride price. What's so extraordinary about her? Zhu Xinian's eyes turned red with rage. He grabbed Jiang Yuelan by the neck, while yelling, I'm already drowning in lawsuits. Where would I get 100 millions? Don't push people too far. It's all your fault I lost my closest brother. If you hadn't seduced me that night in black stockings, I never would have made that mistake and gotten involved with you. Seeing the situation spiral beyond control, I stepped back again and was about to call the police. At that moment, Jiang Yuelan could barely breathe. Struggling desperately, Zhang Fengwan suddenly rushed over from nowhere, holding a brick and swinging it at Zhu Xinian. Let go. Are you trying to take someone's life in public? It's all because of a scumbag like you that I lost such a good son-in-law. And you still dare hurt my daughter, she shouted while swinging at him. From now on, my daughter is done with you. She'll remarry Huai. Everyone's gaze turned toward me. I turned to leave. Your mess has nothing to do with me. Zhu Xinian tried to pull me back, but Zhang Fengwan clung to him tightly. He struck Zhang Fengwan several times. Seeing her mother being attacked, Jiang Yuelan bit down on Zhu Xinian's arm. A man is publicly bullying women. Everyone call the police. The three of them became entangled together. The scene fell into chaos. More and more bystanders gathered. Someone had already taken out a phone to call the police. In the confusion, I saw Zhu Xinian land several hard blows on Jiang Yuelan's abdomen. Jiang Yuelan screamed, clutching her stomach as she fell to the ground. His eyes were bloodshot, as if he had lost all reason. Without a word, he struck down several more times. Zhang Fengwan screamed. A dark stain spread beneath Jiang Yuelan's dress, growing larger and larger. Everyone around froze. Call an ambulance. There's so much bleeding. This is getting serious. The police are already on the way. At that moment, my father also came out of the hospital. Huer, are you all right? I shook my head. I'm fine. My father let out a breath of relief. As long as you're fine, I can't manage everyone else. He quickly brought the situation under control and had the bodyguards restrain Zhu Xinian. The ambulance arrived soon after. The medical staff lifted Jiang Yuelan onto a stretcher, but she was already unresponsive. After emergency efforts, the medics shook their heads. Her post-procedure wound reopened, and the bleeding could not be stopped. There are no vital signs. Zhang Fengwan lunged forward in panic. Yuelan, wake up. The police arrived as well and took Zhu Xinian away. Zhu Xinian stared at the blood on his hands. It wasn't me. I didn't mean for this to happen. She ran into it herself. After Zhu Xinian was taken away, the scene was sealed off with police tape. I stood at the hospital entrance, watching the ambulance take Jiang Yuelan away. I couldn't describe what I felt inside. Zhang Fengwan collapsed on the ground, wailing in grief. My daughter, my father walked over, patted my shoulder and said, let's go. The police will handle it. I followed my father back to the hospital ward. My mother had already packed up and was ready to be discharged. What happened? It was so noisy outside. My mother asked. My father shook his head. Nothing. Let's go home. On the way home, my father told me that Zhu Xinian had caused Jiang Yuelan's death in the struggle. This time he won't be able to escape responsibility. Misappropriation of company funds plus this fatal incident. He'll be facing many years. I nodded, without saying anything. As for Jiang Heicheng, my father paused. I found out he doesn't owe only 100 million. There are other debts too. Altogether, they come close to 20 million more. He'll never be able to pay it all back in this lifetime. At last, I could finally rest properly. Too much had happened over these past few days. I felt completely drained. That night, I lay in bed and took out my phone. Jiang Guolan's WeChat was still in my contacts, even though I had already blocked her. I opened her Moments page. Her latest post from 3 days earlier said, "A new beginning. Looking forward to a better future." The attached photo was a picture of her and Zhu Xinian together. Both of them were smiling happily. I turned off my phones and closed my eyes. Early the next mornings, a phone call woke me up. It was from the police, asking me to come in and give a statement. When I arrived at the station, I described everything in detail. The officer told me that Zhu Xinian had already been criminally detained and was awaiting trial. Based on the evidence currently in hand, Zhu Xinian was suspected of negligent homicide and misappropriation of company funds. If convicted, he would face at least 30 years in prison. The officer said. I nodded. After leaving the station, I received a text from an unknown number. "Qin Huai, this is Jiang Heicheng. I know my sister is gone. Can you help me? I really have nowhere else to turn." I looked at the message and gave a cold laugh. "Help you? When you left my contact information behind for your debt, did you ever think this day would come?" I blocked the number immediately. Over the next few days, I stayed home with my mother while she recovered. Her health had improved a lot. Her spirits had returned as well. My father came home every evening for dinner and chatted with my mother. One night after dinner, my father called me over. "Huer, we got news from Jiang Heicheng's roommate. What happened? Debt collectors took him to Myanmar. After that, there was no word from him. It's probably not good." I was silent for a moment. "What about Zhang Fengwan?" My father said she's broken down. Her daughter is gone, and her son is missing. She couldn't withstand the blow. Her mind has collapsed. Now she's scavenging for food at a dump outside the city. Muttering nonsense every day, I asked one more question, but felt no stir in my heart. Someone saw her, repeating over and over, "I have both a son and a daughter. I'll live comfortably in my old age." My father shook his head. "People can be pitiful and still bring misery on themselves." I nodded. This is all the result of what they chose. Assistant Qin knocked and entered. "The news about Jiang Heicheng has been confirmed. He was found in a casino in Myanmar. He has passed away." I turned around. "How?" "He owed too much money and was beaten badly. He didn't survive." The assistant paused. "He was only discovered 2 days ago. By then, his remains had already decomposed." I nodded. "I understand." 1 month later, Zhu Xinian's case went to trial. I appeared in court as a witness. In the courtroom, Zhu Xinian looked worn down beyond recognition. His eyes were empty. All the confidence he once carried was gone. The judge delivered the verdict. Zhu Xinian was found guilty of negligent homicide and misappropriation of company funds, with multiple offenses combined. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Upon hearing the verdict, Zhu Xinian collapsed back into the defendant's seat. As I walked out of the courtroom, the sunlight was blinding. I raised a hand to shield my eyes. My father walked over. "It's over." "Yes, it's over." 3 months later, I officially took over my father's company and began learning management. My father said he was getting older, and it was time for me to succeed him. Late at night, I stood before the floor-to-ceiling windows in the company office, holding a glass of red wine, overlooking the city below. If back then, they had not assumed I was the one buried in massive debt, I might still have been kept in the dark. Fate felt as though it had played a joke on me, but in the end, I came through without real harm. I smiled faintly and drained the red wine in my hand.